Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Nick Cicciati, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today's guest is Andrew Rusnak. He is the founder of Charlotte Content Marketing, where he is overseeing content strategy, development, and client engagement to drive results for brands worldwide. So, a versatile copywriter and producer with roots in TV production and music tech, he also runs Death Machine Media for spooky creative projects like games and haunted attractions. So, Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Nick. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you. So we always like to start from the beginning with all of our guests, right? So take us back before you started your companies. We have a high level understanding from the intro, but really, what were you doing at the time and what actually motivated you to say, hey, I'm gonna start my own business?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. I kind of fell into this by accident in a way. So if we rewind to around 2009, 2010, I was living I'm in the Charlotte area now, but I was living in Huntsville, Alabama. And I was working at an NBC affiliate TV station out there. I was a master control operator. So I was in charge of making sure everything stayed on the air back in the engineering department and stuff. And I was looking for a second job, something I could just kind of do on the side. And I've always had an interest in writing. Yeah. And I built websites and stuff going all the way back to like 1999, maybe even before that with like GeoCities and Angel Fire and all that. So I'm showing my age, but my experience is like way back then too. Yeah, and so I had heard about blogging for money, people writing blog posts for money, and I thought, well, I like to write, maybe I could do that, as like a side hustle kind of thing. And so I started looking into it. And so I started jumping on these content mills that were really popular back in the day because, content used to be just cranking out as much as possible. And it was just keyword stuffing and the whole, I won't call it black hat SEO, but it was darkish hat SEO back then. Yeah. But it was kind of the Wild West. And so there really weren't rules, and Google still hadn't the algorithms that they use today are like super sophisticated. But back then, people were always looking for ways to kind of fool them. So like I said, keyword stuffing and just cranking out content left and right. So I started with the content mills and stuff, and slowly kind of began seeking out clients on my own as a writer. And, I had some background in the web, and then as well as, SEO and stuff. I was learning that as I was going along, started kind of getting clients. And so I did that for 12 years, right up until about 2022. And I said, well, look, I've been doing this for a while now. Where's this going? Like, what's the end game with this? There's no shade on freelancers or anything like that. I mean, it's a great gig, but I was like, I want to do something more with this. And so I got the idea for Charlotte Content Marketing. I was like, okay, well, content marketing primarily had to do with, website content and blog content and SEO. And that was right up my alley. So, why don't I turn that into a business where, yes, I'm still going to be doing these things at first, but also, I knew plenty of people in the industry and had connections and stuff with other professionals who were doing similar things. And so I figured, maybe start bringing those people in and see, what happens. So that was kind of the idea behind everything. But then, interestingly enough, I think it was like 2 days after I filed with the Secretary of State to actually get the LLC, ChatGPT drops, right?
Ah, yeah.
And for so for somebody who's concentrating on writing, well, all of a sudden it's like, wait, where are we going? Like what does the future look like right now?
Yeah.
And it's actually, it's turned out to be a blessing, really, because while AI can be useful, generative AI can be useful for a lot of things. Writing is if you just need surface level stuff, then yeah, sure, go for it. But that surface level stuff doesn't connect. That surface level stuff doesn't move the needle, and that surface level stuff is not going to drive conversions.
Totally agree.
And so, the authenticity that we're focusing on is the key. But so anyway, I had to pivot really quickly and decide like, am I just going to give up on this, or am I going to find a way to make this work? And so I
Sure.
started thinking about, well, what is content marketing at its core? I mean, it's telling stories, it's having conversations, and it's connecting with audiences on a personal level. And what are the ways that we do that? So the written word is one way, sure. But podcasts, video content, email marketing, social media marketing, all of those are ways to put quality content out there. And so I started, kind of reaching out to other professionals that I knew, and I was like, okay, well, like what if we worked in video? What if we worked in podcasting? And it just kind of built on and on from there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at now. We take an omni-channel approach to content marketing. It's not just blog posts and SEO and stuff. That is part of it. But we're really trying to hit on, as many different places as possible.
I love that. Yeah, and especially when people say, they do content. Like content is such
Sure.
a same as marketing, right? Like it's such a broad term. And
Right.
there are so many channels, like you mentioned, that fit into that description, right? So,
Right.
yeah, the omni-channel approach definitely makes a lot more sense, especially now, right? Because everybody is trained almost at this point to just be consumers, right? Consume a ton of content,
Mm.
whether it be on Reels, whether it be on, blog posts, still Reddit, like all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing that you guys are able to capture that attention from all different types of platforms and angles. So
Right.
I am curious then, since you're omni-channel, at this point in, who would you say really is like your ideal client? And then how do you go about giving them the support they need?
Sure. Well, and that's been a journey in and of itself because again, coming from the freelance background, I had some agency exposure through that, but I was kind of learning this as I was going along, and I mean, if I'm going to be totally transparent, I still am, and I think a lot of founders are.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't want to admit it, but I went into this kind of with the thinking that there's one way to do this and that
right.
all of these people who work in high level positions in marketing or whatever they just follow this playbook and I've come to discover that that's not the case at all and that everybody is kind of doing it their own way and yeah, sure, there are best practices that get incorporated, but there's not one way to the top of the mountain. And
Totally.
so, in vetting clients at first, it was kind of okay, well, we can do all these different things, you know, sure, yeah, we'll help, yeah. But I came to discover very quickly that our approach, and unfortunately, I think this is something that a lot of marketing agencies do,
Yeah,
is they want to try to create a specific package of services and then every single client gets that package of services.
right.
But what I came to discover is I mean when you're working with business owners and brands, they're in all of these different places along their own journeys. And so what we do is we tailor every single relationship that we have, every single contract that we sign
Yeah,
is personalized because again, we can't say, I can't come to you and say, okay, well, we offer, this video package and this blog package and everything is going to be together. You may not need that. A startup, their content needs are going to be completely different than, an established brand that's been around for 5 or 10 years or something like that.
totally.
Um, and then of course, the individual goals of a client matter in that too. So yeah, I think that was kind of again part of this journey of trying to figure out like our ideal client, could be a startup and it could be an established brand, but it tends to be more established brands because those are the ones where the consistent content is going to pay off more. SEO and other efforts with brand building, that stuff could take 6 months to a year before
Yeah.
it really starts converting, before it really starts, paying off and you get that ROI.
For sure.
But I don't want to force that on anybody. I don't want to propose that to somebody. If you come to me and
Right.
you're like, "Well, I just started this business," then I'm gonna walk away from that because, I'm not gonna just take your money and shovel this stuff out knowing that it's not going to help you.
Yeah. Have you guys ever considered like narrowing or niching down a little bit more, like with a specific ICP that has like a very common problem to maybe fulfill on that common problem, but at scale? That way you're not like supply constrained.
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, we what we found is healthcare, home services, things like that, where again, it's a um, more established business that is in this for the long term.
Yeah.
I think that that's been another thing too, is, so if someone approaches us and, I can, just through our conversations and stuff, and I can tell like they don't have this vision where they're able to see themselves 5 years or 10 years down the road. This is sort of
Yeah.
an idea in their mind,
For
and
sure.
it's kind of, it doesn't really have shape at this point. Again, that's something where, we would respectfully walk away from something like that, just because, yeah, sure, we can do all these things, but at the end of the day, is it going to be a benefit to you?
Right.
So,
Yeah. How do you plan on or I guess like not even plan on, but like what's working for you guys right now, like in terms of like the back end processes of more so like client acquisition, going out, bringing your marketing perspective out there so people know like exactly what you guys do.
um, I go back to having conversations. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't look at it necessarily as a sales process. We are more based on these personal connections and conversations. So,
Yeah.
I take the time, if anyone, within our team, our partners come to me and say, "Oh, well, I've got this, potential, lead here," I want to look into it first. I want to establish that connection first because, like I just said, what we're doing is not right for everybody, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be beneficial for everybody. And so, again, I wouldn't really say like it's a sales process necessarily,
Right.
because we have to form those connections and we have to have those conversations, in order to find out whether this is a good fit for them and whether it's a good fit for us.
Yeah.
So we rely mostly on, forming those personal connections, and that could be anything from LinkedIn, to intake on our website, to social media, to just referrals.
Incredible. Yeah, I love that approach too, because I once had a mentor of mine, president over at acquisition.com. His name is Sharon Servatza. And he's known as like the Michael Jordan of real estate, had a really cool career. And he, told me one thing, and I believe he made some content about it as well. And he mentioned that there is no B2B, there is no B2C. It's only H to H, which means human to human, right?
Right.
And that's all that we are at the end of the day. We're just humans, and we
Sure.
one of our core needs is to have that connection, right?
Right.
And yeah, I love the approach that you guys are taking there, right? Because once you make the client really feel felt, right? And
Right.
they understand that, you are here for them. Well, not only are they going to be a long-lasting client forever, right?
Sure.
Hopefully. But also, they will send a ton of referrals your way as well,
Sure.
So I
Well,
am
and
curious. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and something else with that too, so because we take this omni-channel approach. I mean, we refer to it as search everywhere optimization. That's our SEO, is search
Yeah.
everywhere optimization. There sometimes where we may start off, at point A and then end up at point B with expanding services, out from there, after a time of working together. It may become clear that it's more advantageous to do things this way as opposed to this way, or we may need to scale back on some services and replace them with something else. I mean, that's part of, again, having those conversations. So we're checking in with the client, we're meeting with the client on a regular basis, we're issuing reports, we're looking at the data, and we're seeing, okay, this is where we're succeeding, this is where we may need to change some things up. in order to, and this goes back to what I was saying originally about, there's no cookie cutter roadmap to any
Right.
of this stuff.
Yeah.
It would be nice if there were, and I know that there are plenty of marketing agencies that work off of that model, and more power to them. But for what we're doing, that just wouldn't work. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, Andrew, I'm curious, when you think about your vision of the company, right? It sounds like, it's a very relationships driven approach, right? Which I
sure.
really appreciate. What are some of the goals that you guys have set out for the business over the next, say, 6 to 12 months from now?
Right. Um, and in kind of keeping with the relationship thing. So what we're working on right now is launching a basically a creator network in which we're going to work with creators who are usually what I would consider nano influencers or micro influencers. I mean, we do have some creators who we partnered with who are larger, but not, anything huge.
Totally.
But building out that network to be able to provide our clients and future clients with opportunities to get their products and services and their brand in front of uh, maybe smaller audiences, but also more local audiences. So this is something that we're looking at across the Southeast. We're based in Charlotte, across the Southeast, but then also across the country. And we're looking for ways where we can create these win-win-win situations. So it's a win for the client, it's a win for the creator, and it's a win for us. And again, that all comes back down to, relationships. And conversations. I mean, everything that we do is personalized, and we're pretty fiercely self-reliant. I mean, I've bootstrapped this entire venture from the beginning, and along the way, have brought on additional people who have added to the mix, and we're all kind
Yeah.
of building this together. But yeah, so that's one of the initiatives that we're looking at over the next 6 to 12 months.
Nice. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining me today. And
Yeah.
honestly, man, just sharing your incredible journey and insight with everybody. So,
Yeah, man.
for anybody listening to this right now that would like to reach out to you, whether it be on social media or to potentially become a client, who knows, what is
Sure.
the best way for them to go about it?
You can check us out online. We're at charlottecontentmarketing.com. You can find us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, all that good stuff. YouTube, is another way to check us out. We regularly update videos there. We do a little podcast of our own when time permits. But yeah, charlottecontentmarketing.com, and there's a contact form. You can also email hello@charlottecontentmarketing.com, and someone will get back to you.
There it is. Well, guys, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to go check out Andrew on all of the platforms he just mentioned. And also, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future. And if you are a business owner and you are looking to scale your business and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and we'll see you on the next one.